Welcome and welcome back. If you're returning, well, no, welcome and welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I don't know why I get tongue tied on that introduction, but it is heartfelt. It is from my heart. So, if this is your first time, all of my dishes are delicious and easy to make using everyday ingredients. So, please continue to watch. If you're returning, I thank you so much for being with this channel. Please continue to watch, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. If this is your first time, please do the same. It costs absolutely nothing for you to hit the like button. It costs absolutely nothing for you to subscribe. And I love when you leave a comment. It does give me a nice warm feeling inside. Okay. So this is your first time. I don't like to keep you waiting. And for those who've been with me for a while, you know that also. So what am I coming to you today with? A delicious treat. But wait, we're using cornbread mix. Now, I know you probably think, cornbread mix? What is that? Now, if you're from the South, or if you have family from the South, you've seen cornbread. You probably actually had it with usually around the holiday meals like Thanksgiving. But if you haven't, that's fine. You will see cornbread mix at almost any supermarket. This is Jiffy. This is the brand I'm using. But you have Betty Crocker. You have so many different brands. So you find the one that you use or the one that's on sale. This is the one that I'm using. So I know what you're thinking. This is a corn muffin mix, right? And we don't want to make corn muffins. No, we're not going to, I said cornbread, but corn muffin mix. We're not going to make that. We're not going to make muffins. We're going to make a delicious treat. Let's get started. Okay, so if you ever go to the market, and I'm talking about the supermarket, and you go to their dessert aisle, their desserts are pretty expensive now, just like the food. And I'm not even going to go there because I'm quite sure you realize that too, that prices is up all over the place. And if you go to a bakery, forget about it. I mean, the price is so much, you can like blow your whole budget when trying to get a dessert when you can make one yourself that's affordable. Okay, so I'm just thinking that. Now, when you look at this, right, on this corn muffin mix, it's actually saying that you should like add 1 egg and oil, but you don't want to add oil. Now, I said cornbread, right, in the beginning, because I thought this was the cornbread mix. If you have cornbread mix, you can do this as well with cornbread. So let me take a step back, because I said cornbread around the holidays. Yes, you can make it with cornbread mix. You can make it with corn muffin mix. Either way, they're interchangeable. Okay, so on this one, it's telling you, if you look at the ingredients, it's saying to use oil, right? 1 cup of milk, 1 egg, and to mix it together, right? We're not going to do that because we want this to taste like a dessert. And most of the time when you go to these restaurants or even these shops and you get a dessert and you're trying to figure out, oh, this tastes so good, I wonder what they did. Yeah, they use an easy hack just like this, but of course they're not going to tell you that. So now I'm going to come in with some milk. And you use any milk that you have on hand. I'm just using regular everyday milk. So nothing special there. But again, you use what's on sale. You use what you have. And I'm going to ask you to do me a favor one more time. If you're watching this, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know, have you ever thought about making a delicious treat using cornbread muffin mix or any kind of mix, actually, that's not supposed to be for a treat. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. And I'm probably going to add a little bit more milk, but we're going to see. So that, I'm going to add, I know what you're thinking, sour cream is going to taste sour. I guarantee you it won't. Let me tell you the trick with sour cream. When you add sour cream, it's almost like buttermilk, right? So you're saying, well, what do you mean by that? When you add sour cream, it has a way of adding moisture and tenderness. Just like if you ever had a cake or any dessert that was just, I don't know, like not moist, and like you're choking, trying to swallow it, but you want to be polite because someone made it. Yeah, if you use sour cream, that won't happen. I mean, give it a try. Leave a comment and let me know, have you ever used sour cream in your baking dish? I love to know. Okay. So I'm not going to mix this. Yeah, I am going to mix it. So So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the sour cream is thoroughly mixed, like this. And if you're new to my channel, no, I don't use a blender or a stand mixer or anything like that. Can you use it? Absolutely. If you have it, go ahead. But I don't really think it's necessary, not for many dishes. I mean, if you think about it, our mothers and grandmothers have been making desserts for quite a long time. And a lot of those gadgets that you see on the market now that may cost an arm and a leg didn't exist. And we still had delicious desserts. Okay? And this is my take on one. So now this is what I call a hack, right? Because we're actually using corn muffin mix. Okay? So now that we did that, I'm going to come in with cinnamon. Yes, real simple. And that's what I mean by everyday ingredients, that you're using ingredients that you probably already have in your cabinet, but you're just using this in a different way than, most people would or would think to use it. So, and don't worry, all the ingredients and measurements will be in the description box as always. So I'm going to come in with about a tablespoon of, a little less. But again, it will be in the description box. So has anyone planned to do anything this summer? It feels like it's just flying by. Lord, I mean, like fall is right around the corner. That's the feeling I'm getting. So now, the mix called for 1 egg, but we're going to put 2. Yeah, and I'll tell you why in a second. You're probably going to hear me, of course you're going to hear me cracking this egg. And I'm just cracking it off camera. But why am I putting 2 eggs instead of 1? Because we want this to not fall apart, because we're going to be adding stuff to it. So if you put 1 egg, like any corn muffin mix you use may say 1 egg. But if you have to remember that we're not using it like a corn muffin mix. We're using this as a dessert. So we're going to put 2 eggs. And also, it will add moisture to it. You don't need to add 3 or 4 because you don't want it too eggy. What do I mean by eggy? Sometimes you can, if it has too much eggs in it, you can taste it. And that's not too good. So now, I'm going to come in. Just some sugar. Granulated sugar. Now, you use the sweetener that you like. I'm just using everyday sugar. Nothing special there. And I'm going to come in with 1 spoonful, 2, and 3. And again, like I always say, that those who've been with me for a while, you know this. But if you're new to my channel, one of the great things about making a dessert is that you get to decide how sweet you want it to be. I always say that. You don't want something overly sweet. So now I'm going to stir this in. And I'm just going to keep mixing until it's all absorbed. So until all of the egg is absorbed in the batter. And you want to keep on stirring from the bottom. I'm not concerned about the color, because remember, this isn't a corn muffin mix. It is a corn muffin mix, but we're making a delicious treat with this. Okay. So now that we did that, now you probably say, okay, so where's the delicious part? And here we go. This is also the delicious treat, but a healthy treat. I'm using strawberries. Now, strawberries just happen to be on sale. If they wasn't on sale, can you use another fruit? Yes, you can. You use what you like. And I'm just cutting this up. Yeah, so this is actually, you can tell yourself and you can tell the family, this is actually a healthy treat. I'm telling you, if you look at like cupcakes, and not just look at them, but if you ever taste them, sometimes they're just sweet. Like there's no real flavor to it, actually, especially the ones I find now. Even if it says strawberry, like it's pink, but you really don't taste strawberry. And of course, it's artificial flavoring and coloring and all of that. So, and expensive on top of it. Now, that's not to say that I don't buy the ones the cupcakes that's already made and from the store. Of course I do. But if I can make it myself, I can control the ingredients and the quality of ingredients. Now, my fruit, FYI, just want to let you know, I always wash my fruit in vinegar and water. Just take a cap full of vinegar, everyday vinegar, and I soak my fruits in water. Now, you may have fruits that said, you buy them and they say they already washed. Yeah, I would, still watch my fruits because they may not be. Or maybe they did wash them, but the quality of their wash wasn't that great. So these are just blueberries. And again, if you don't like blueberries, use the berries you like. Raspberry, blackberry, any berry that you like. Again, always wash your vegetables as well as your fruit. And leave me a comment. Let me know, have you ever bought fruit, right, that said it was washed already, and then you took it home and washed it and was surprised at what you saw in the bowl? And again, my rinse is very easy. It's just vinegar and water. And I use enough vinegar, like maybe 2 or 3 spoonfuls of vinegar, not spoonfuls, caps of vinegar, to whatever I'm watching. And then I just cover it up with enough water that is soaking. And I let it rinse or sit for like 10 minutes and then rinse it. Okay, now I have cherries. Why am I using cherries? Because guess what? Yeah, it was on sale. Yeah. And I'm just cutting these up as well. Are there anything special? No, not at all. Now, can you use another thing? You're probably thinking, well, why not just use dry fruit? You can. You absolutely can use dry fruit if that's what you have. But guess what? I don't know why. Maybe it's just my market. I find that in the summertime, like now, when you go for dry fruit, it's actually more expensive than the fresh ones. Yeah, I don't know. So I thought to myself, well, since this is the summertime and cherries are in season, why not get fresh cherries? So that's what I did. But again, if you're in a place where you can't get fresh cherries or cherries are expensive for this time of year, you can use dry fruit. And always, if I'm using a fruit that you don't like or your family or little ones, hey, change it up. That's one of the great things. You get to decide what you want in your delicious treat and your tasty eats. Okay, that's that. Now, I love this color. The camera probably isn't showing it, but that's okay. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, wow, those fruits are going to be big inside of this treat. Yeah, that doesn't bother me. But if you want to mash it up, I am mashing up some of them if you're wondering what I'm doing with the spoon. I'm breaking some of the fruits up into smaller pieces. But if they whole, it doesn't bother me in the least. But I am breaking them up, mashing them against the side of the bowl. Okay. So now, those who've been with me for a while, I know you always say, here she always come in with that vanilla. Does she know any other flavoring besides vanilla? Well, yes, I do. Today, I'm going to come in with almond. And I forgot to switch it up. But to be honest with you, the reason why I use vanilla is because vanilla goes well with almost everything. In fact, I don't know anything vanilla, doesn't taste that great with. It's delicious. So I'm going to come in with a half a teaspoon. That's quickly going to turn into a teaspoon. Now, if you don't like almond, no problem. You can use any flavoring you like. I decided just to use almond this time. I probably would use vanilla, lemon, but I just decided on almond. Okay. So there we go with that. Now, I think I put everything that needs to go in there. No, I didn't. Guess what I forgot? Almost forgot. Yeah. And you don't want to miss on this. This is melted butter, 1 stick. That's going to also add moisture. Remember I said that you can have a treat that's like really, what's that word for it? Dry? Yeah. So I'm adding that to it. Okay. Stir that around. There we go. Now, please take a minute, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It costs absolutely nothing. Leave a comment. Let me know. I love your comments when y'all tell me, you had this before, you didn't have it before, or wasn't quite sure how it would taste. Let me know where you're watching from. I always seem to think everyone is watching it's a local, but I realize that's not the case, and I thank you. I love those who are not local. Local and local. Baking powder. Almost forgot. Now, you may say, well, why are you adding baking powder? I do want this to fluff up. Because remember, we're not eating it like it's a corn muffin mix. We're using this as a delicious eat or tasty treat. So I'm going to come in with, let's see, a tablespoon. 1 tablespoon. And I'm going to sprinkle it all around. Not just in one place. I'm going to come in with 1 more tablespoon. So that's going to be 2. Because I want this to fluff up. There we go. Now, here we go with 1 more stir. And I think I'm going to come in with just a tad bit sugar. There we go. That's that. Yeah, whenever it's in the summertime or the weather is nice and warm, I always want to make a dessert with fruits. I don't know why. Tell me if you're like that. I have no idea why in the summertime. I guess because of the fruits. It's like seasonal. So I try to include that in my desserts. Okay, I'm just moving that out of the way. And I'm going to come in with my little dish. Okay, let me put this down first. My baking pan. Now, if you can see these, I don't know if it's being picked up by the camera, but it has little designs. Yeah, gorgeous little designs for my delicious treat. So that's why. And this is also not supposed to stick, but yeah, I don't know about that. This is the first time I'm really using this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of oil. I don't have any cooking spray, so I'm just using vegetable oil. Nothing special. And I'm going to pour in each one. And I'll show you why in a second. Just a tad. Just enough to coat it. Okay, so since that was a lot in that one, I won't put anyone in the next one. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my brush. And I'm going to go all around the sides. Because I want it to be able to come out. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just try to coat all around the sides of the dish. All inside. So that it will not stick when it comes time to come out. And I know you're probably thinking, well, this is supposed to be a silicone. It's supposed to be easy to release. Yeah, that's what they say. But I'm just going to take this extra step. And I'm trying to get all in the nooks and crannies. Because that's where the batter will be going into. And that's where the potential is for it to stick as well. So now what I'm going to do is take some and put it in that one. And I'm going to do the same thing. Trying to get into all the nooks and crannies. Just to make sure it comes out. Okay. So now I'm going to take the batter and set this to the side. Just want to make sure you can see everything I'm doing. I used to watch channels and I didn't understand what was going on. So I'm just doing this. And you probably say, well, why is she doing this? I'm combining, making sure everything is combined. And I'm pushing against the side of the bowl to break up any lumps. So any lumps of the sour cream, of sugar, one more time before I put it inside of the baking dish. Or the muffin tins. Not muffin tins, but, well, you know what I mean. So here we go. Now, I doubt I'm going to have to be able to pour this in, but I'm going to try. Yep, there we go. Wow, it is going in. Here we go. I may have a little bit extra left over, and that's not a bad thing. It will not go to waste. And there we go with that one. Am I the neatest baker? No. But guess what? Never said I was. No, I actually need something else to be able to spoon this in. So there we go with that. And I think that would be better. But I don't want all the fruits just in one. And I'm going to clean that up. But hey, this isn't one of those shows where everything looks perfect, because that just isn't life. Life is messy, and so is cooking. Okay, so again, do not worry about this mess that you see now. I'm going to clean this up. In fact, let me try to do that right now. I have some paper towel. Yeah, life is messy. Life is real messy. And you have these shows that doesn't show you how messy life can be. And I'm talking about cooking shows, not any of those other ones. So now, because I use a muffin mix, each muffin mix has its own cooking time. But I'm going to put this in for about, I'm going to say after 25 minutes, I'm going to start looking to see if it's done. Now, everyone's stove is different. I'm also going to cook mine at like 300. If you turn it up to 350, I wouldn't wait 30 minutes. I will wait maybe 25 minutes. But again, after 25 minutes, check and see, because everyone's oven is different. Okay, let's get this in the oven. Okay, so guess what? This took a little longer than I thought. And then I realized, yes, it took more than 30 minutes because this is just not a corn muffin mix. This is a delicious dessert. So by adding everything to it, like the sour cream and the butter and the extra milk and everything, it took a little bit longer. It took about 45 minutes. And then I did let it cool in my refrigerator. Do you see all the wonderful designs? I'm going to lift it so hopefully you can see. Now you can see the blueberries and the cherries. Now, can you serve it just as it is? Yes, you can. And it's delicious just like that. But I think I want to take it up a notch. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. One more time. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please leave a comment. You don't know how much that makes me so happy to read what you write, and just let me know what you think. So now I had some strawberries left over. A little bit tired. And so I'm just going to decorate the plate with a little bit of strawberries. And I have one big one. I wonder where I should put this one. I'm going to put it right there. And again, you use any berry that you like. This is just what we happen to like. And more importantly, this is what was on sale. So we went with it. But remember the cherries? Yep, I'm going to put some cherries there as well. Yeah, so let me know in the comment what berries you would use or what combination of berries. And I did believe I used almond flavor. I could have used vanilla, but I just thought maybe I'd switch it up since I always use vanilla. Well, not always, but I do use it a lot. So, okay, we're going to do that. And I have some blueberries, so why not? Just going to sprinkle that all over. It's here and there. And you know, it costs absolutely nothing to subscribe. I know someone once wrote that they thought it was a fee to like join. Well, that's not exactly what you're doing with me. That's not at all. So it's actually absolutely free. So please subscribe, like, and share the video. Now, what do you think? Do you think I should leave it just like that? I think this is gorgeous just as it is. I was going to put some powder sugar, but you know what I think? I think I'm going to leave it just like that because that is gorgeous. So until next time, enjoy.